Introduction: Intelligence is a choice, not a gift. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, they were just born smarter than me? What if I told you, that's a lie? Not a mistake. Not an exaggeration. A lie. One that's been sold to you since you were a child. That intelligence is a fixed trait. That your potential is set in stone. That if you're not already great, you never will be. But the Stoics knew better. They believed that the sharpest minds were forged, not found. That strength of thought, like strength of body, came through deliberate training. And modern science? It proves they were right. Neuroplasticity shows your brain can rewire itself at any age. You're not stuck. You're simply untrained. And every day, every choice, every challenge is a chance to build the mind you want. Epictetus said it best. Only the educated are free. Because freedom comes not from what you know, but how you think. In this video, we'll uncover 15 principles, rooted in Stoic wisdom and modern psychology, that will help you rebuild your mind like a warrior reforging a sword. From emotional control to critical thinking, from discipline to deep learning. This isn't just about being smart. This is about power. The power to choose how you think. To shape how you see the world. To decide what kind of man you're becoming. Let's begin. Chapter 1: Intelligence is built, not born. The Stoics didn't believe in natural talent. They believed in effort. Repetition. Discipline. Marcus Aurelius was born into power, but he trained his mind daily through journaling and reflection, not because he needed to, but because he knew the danger of an untrained mind. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Modern psychology confirms this. Intelligence isn't a fixed number. It's a process. Dr. Carol Dweck's research at Stanford proved that those who believe intelligence is malleable actually become smarter. Why? Because they act differently. They push through challenges instead of avoiding them. They seek feedback instead of fearing it. They grow because they believe they can. Here's the trap: most people think intelligence is something you have, not something you do. But the truth is, thinking well is a habit. And like any habit, it can be trained. Practical exercise. Reflect tonight: where in my life am I acting like intelligence is fixed? Choose one area: work, relationships, fitness, and start asking better questions there. Don't say, "I can't." Say, "How can I learn this?" The Stoics would say, it's not the obstacle that stops you, it's your interpretation of the obstacle. Reflective question. Are you treating your mind like a muscle, or a statue? Chapter 2: Read to grow smarter. Seneca once warned, "You must linger among a limited number of master thinkers, and digest their works, if you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind." Reading isn't about accumulation. It's about transformation. Most people today skim. They scroll. They consume. But they don't digest. And as a result, they remain full of information but empty of wisdom. A Stoic reads to reflect. To wrestle with ideas. To become someone different by the end of the page. Imagine this: you read a passage from Epictetus that says, it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. You don't just nod and move on. You stop. You challenge your day. When did I judge today instead of observe? When did I let my interpretation create my suffering? This is how intelligence builds, not through passive input, but active integration. Modern insight. Cognitive science supports this. Elaborative rehearsal, repeating ideas in your own words and applying them, strengthens memory and understanding far more than surface-level reading. Practical habit. Read slowly. Highlight, write notes, ask questions. After each session, take one insight and apply it in real life. Not tomorrow, today. Reflective question. Do you read to be entertained, or to be transformed? Chapter 3, Learn New Skills Often. Every time you learn something new, your brain rewires itself. New connections. New perspectives. New strength. But here's the catch, learning something new requires you to be bad at it first. And that's where most people quit. They mistake discomfort for failure. The Stoics saw things differently. Epictetus reminded his students that we should first learn what is necessary, and then what is possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. To the Stoic, being a beginner isn't weakness, it's proof of courage. Because it takes strength to say, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. Neuroscience calls this cognitive flexibility, your ability to adapt, to switch perspectives, to unlearn and relearn. It's one of the highest markers of intelligence, and one of the rarest. Why? Because ego gets in the way. You'd rather protect your pride than expand your potential. But every new skill you tackle, public speaking, coding, a language, meditation, is a mental gym session. And with each rep, you train resilience, humility, and adaptability. Practical exercise. Pick one new skill. Commit to 20 minutes a day. Nothing huge, just daily movement. Track the frustration. Notice when your ego resists. That resistance. It's your mind growing. Reflective question. Are you choosing to remain the same, just because it's comfortable? Chapter 4, Shift to a Growth Mindset. Imagine hearing a voice in your head that says, I'm just not good at this. Now ask yourself, whose voice is that? It's not yours. It's a story you've inherited. Maybe from school. Maybe from failure. Maybe from someone who gave up before you ever tried. The Stoics would call that voice an illusion. They taught that our perception, not reality, is what shapes our experience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. That same mindset applies to learning. To growth. If something can be improved, improve it. Don't label it. Don't surrender to it. Just take one more step. Modern psychology calls this the growth mindset, a belief, proven by science, that your abilities are not fixed. That effort changes outcomes. That failure is feedback. That even intelligence is something you build, not something you measure. In contrast, a fixed mindset believes your worth is based on talent, and if you fail, it means you're not good enough. It's a mental prison. But the growth mindset? It's liberation. Neuroscience insight. Every time you make a mistake, your brain fires a signal. That signal is a learning opportunity. But only if you respond to it with curiosity instead of shame. Practical practice. Start noticing your internal labels. I'm not good at math, I'm bad with people, I can't focus. Now challenge each one, according to whom? And what if I practiced? Reflective question. Are you living by truth, or by the labels fear taught you? Chapter 5, Challenge your brain daily. Comfort is the enemy of growth. And that includes mental comfort. The Stoics trained themselves to do hard things, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood this truth. Your mind must be tested to be trusted. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort. He would sleep on the floor, wear cheap clothes, eat basic meals, not because he had to, but to remind himself that luxury weakens, and challenge strengthens. He wrote, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The modern brain, flooded by convenience, entertainment, and distraction, forgets this. It forgets how to think deeply, how to wrestle with ideas, how to tolerate boredom, uncertainty, or difficulty. But the brain is like a blade, it dulls without friction. That's why you must intentionally introduce cognitive resistance, read hard books, solve difficult problems, sit in silence, ask uncomfortable questions. Psychological insight. Research shows that desirable difficulty, doing tasks that are mentally challenging, leads to stronger memory, more creative thinking, and better long-term learning. This isn't about grinding until you burn out. It's about training with purpose. Practical challenge. Pick one daily habit that stretches your mind: journaling deep questions, solving puzzles, learning philosophy, or engaging in debate. Notice when your brain resists. That resistance. That's your next rep. Reflective question. Are you giving your mind the challenge it needs, or just the comfort it craves? Chapter 6. Master Emotional Intelligence. You can't be truly intelligent if you can't master your emotions. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. To them, wisdom wasn't just knowing, it was self-control. To govern your mind, you must first govern your emotions. Epictetus put it clearly. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. Emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about understanding them, owning them, and responding with clarity rather than reacting with chaos. Modern psychology breaks emotional intelligence into 5 components. Self-awareness, knowing your emotions as they happen. Self-regulation, managing impulses and reactions. Intrinsic motivation, acting from internal values, not external rewards. Empathy, understanding others' emotions. Social skills, navigating relationships wisely. The Stoics practiced all 5. When Marcus Aurelius was under pressure as emperor, he didn't lash out, he journaled, he reflected, he led with restraint. Why? Because he understood that unchecked emotion weakens judgment. Neuroscience connection. The amygdala, the brain's emotional center, can hijack rational thinking if untrained. But with awareness and mindfulness, the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, can take control. Practical application. Start by naming emotions when you feel them. I feel anxious, I feel frustrated. Then ask, why, and what belief is behind this? Challenge the belief. Choose your response deliberately. Reflective question. Are you reacting out of impulse, or responding with intention? Chapter 7. Eat smart for mental clarity. The Stoics spoke little about food, but what they did say reveals a powerful truth. Overindulgence weakens the mind. Seneca wrote, "We should eat to live, not live to eat." He saw gluttony and excess as distractions, chains to the body that enslave the spirit. Modern science now echoes this. What you eat doesn't just affect your waistline, it affects your brain function, emotional regulation, and mental clarity. Your gut is often called your second brain. Why? Because it produces neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, the same chemicals responsible for mood, focus, and decision-making. Foods rich in sugar, seed oils, and processed carbs create mental fog. They spike energy, then crash it. They cause inflammation, and inflammation affects cognitive performance. On the other hand, foods rich in omega-3s, healthy fats, antioxidants, and micronutrients, like leafy greens, fish, nuts, and berries, have been shown to enhance memory, focus, and resilience. Psychological connection. Stable blood sugar leads to stable mood. Stable mood leads to better decision-making. And better decision-making is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Practical habit. Try eating with intention for 7 days, eliminate processed junk, increase hydration, add healthy fats and greens. Notice your focus, mood, and energy. Journal it. Connect your choices to your clarity. Reflective question. Are you feeding your brain like a philosopher, or like a slave to impulse? Chapter 8. Think better through dialogue. True thinking doesn't happen in isolation. It sharpens in the fire of conversation. Socrates, one of the philosophical fathers of Stoicism, never wrote a book. He taught through dialogue. Why? Because he believed that truth is revealed not by asserting, but by asking. The Stoics inherited this mindset. They valued dialectic, the rigorous exchange of ideas, as a tool to cut through illusion, test assumptions, and refine wisdom. Marcus Aurelius often used imagined conversations in his journal. He'd pose objections, answer them, and challenge his own thinking. This wasn't weakness. It was strength. Intellectual humility. Modern research supports this deeply. Psychologist Jordan Peterson has pointed out that thinking is often a verbal process. We don't know what we believe until we say it aloud and get challenged. But here's the problem today: most people avoid real dialogue. They confuse debate with attack. They choose echo chambers over friction. And so, their ideas remain soft, untested, and fragile. Practical exercise. Find someone you trust and respect. Pick a meaningful topic. Ask them to challenge you. Not to win, but to reveal. Practice listening. Not waiting to respond, but really absorbing. Stoic practice. When someone disagrees with you, ask. What if they're partly right? What part of your belief would survive scrutiny? Reflective question. Are you thinking, or just repeating? Chapter 9, Discomfort Drives Growth. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. And the Stoics knew this better than anyone. Every Stoic, from Epictetus to Marcus Aurelius, faced suffering. Epictetus was born a slave and walked with a crippled leg. Marcus ruled an empire during plagues and war. Yet neither of them asked, "Why me?" They asked, "What can I learn from this?" Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's not just poetic, it's powerful. He believed that adversity is the very path to growth. Discomfort doesn't block your development. It builds it. Modern psychology and neuroscience back this up. It's called hormetic stress, controlled exposure to difficulty that strengthens you. Cold showers, hard workouts, difficult conversations, fasting, learning new skills, these create resilience, clarity, and adaptability. But most people run from discomfort. They chase ease, numbness, distraction. And in doing so, they rob themselves of transformation. The Stoic lesson: stop avoiding. Start absorbing. Practical strategy. Choose one daily discomfort. Wake up early. Do a hard workout. Speak an honest truth. Don't fight the feeling, feel it fully. Watch how your threshold expands. Reflective question. Are you avoiding the very thing that would make you stronger? Chapter 10, Train your body, sharpen your mind. A sharp mind cannot thrive in a weak body. The Stoics understood this well. They were philosophers, but also warriors, athletes, and soldiers. Because they knew that the body is not separate from the mind, it's the foundation of mental strength. Seneca advised, "A healthy mind must be housed in a healthy body." He didn't mean vanity. He meant vitality. When your body is strong, you can endure more. When your body is trained, your mind becomes more disciplined, more alert, more resilient. Modern science agrees. Exercise increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a chemical that promotes learning, memory, and mental clarity. Physical movement reduces anxiety, depression, and stress, boosting mood and sharpening focus. Strength training even improves executive function, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and impulse control. The gym becomes a Stoic temple. You face resistance. You face yourself. And you emerge better, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Practical practice. Move daily. It doesn't need to be extreme: walk, lift, stretch, run. Link the movement to mindset. Ask, what mental trait am I strengthening through this physical act? Example, lifting weights equals building discipline. Cold shower equals mastering discomfort. Running equals cultivating endurance. Reflective question. Is your body aligned with the man you want to become? Chapter 11, Use art to spark creativity. The Stoics might not be known as artists, but they were deeply attuned to beauty, stillness, and meaning. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, wrote in Meditations about the wonder found in simple things, like the way bread cracks in the oven or the veins on a leaf. To him, beauty wasn't luxury. It was clarity. A reminder to pause. To observe. To reconnect. He wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." Why does this matter for intelligence? Because creativity is intelligence at play. And exposure to art, painting, music, poetry, architecture, triggers neural pathways that foster emotional depth, perspective shifting, and novel thinking. Modern neuroscience shows that art enhances activity in the default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for imagination, empathy, and meaning-making. In a world addicted to speed and utility, art forces reflection. It softens the rigid mind. It deepens emotional intelligence. Art is not escape. It's recalibration. Practical practice. Once a week, immerse yourself in art, visit a gallery, read poetry, listen to a symphony, draw without judgment. Ask, what does this make me feel, and why? Stoic integration. Use art as a mirror. Let it show you what you haven't been willing to feel. Then return to your challenges with new eyes. Reflective question. When was the last time beauty changed your mind? Chapter 12, Apply knowledge fast. Knowledge that isn't used quickly, is often lost forever. The Stoics were not collectors of wisdom. They were practitioners of it. Every line they read, every insight they discovered, was tested in the arena of real life. Epictetus made it plain. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Too many men today consume books, podcasts, and advice like it's a form of achievement. But what good is a library in your head if your habits remain unchanged? Modern research backs this principle through the concept of active recall and spaced repetition. But here's a deeper truth: application creates memory. When you act on what you learn, immediately, you signal to your brain, this matters. That's how lessons move from knowledge to wisdom. Here's what separates thinkers from doers. Doers apply what they learn before they feel ready. They risk discomfort. They experiment. And they improve, fast. Practical habit. After every piece of content you consume, ask, how can I apply this in the next 24 hours? Make it physical. Visible. Behavioral. For example, you read about Stoic calm. Practice it in traffic today. You learn a new productivity method. Try it this afternoon. You hear a new mental model. Explain it out loud to a friend. Reflective question. Are you hoarding knowledge, or using it to transform who you are? Chapter 13, Question before believing. The unexamined thought is the most dangerous trap. The Stoics were radical skeptics, not cynical, but fiercely rational. They believed that your first thought is often your worst thought, because it's not yours, it's inherited. Epictetus warned. It's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it that matters. And yet, most people live on autopilot. They accept beliefs from their culture, family, fears, or past trauma, and never question them. They live with assumptions like, I'm not good enough. People like me can't succeed. This always happens to me. These thoughts feel like truth. But they're just unquestioned stories. Modern psychology, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is built on this Stoic foundation. CBT teaches that thoughts are not facts. You can challenge them. Reframe them. Replace them. This is the Stoic discipline, not just to control emotion, but to audit thought. Mental exercise. Write down one painful or limiting thought. Now interrogate it like a Stoic. Is this always true? What's the evidence? Who would I be without this thought? Practical practice. Turn your mind into a courtroom. Every belief is a witness. Every assumption must be cross-examined. Reflective question. Do you believe your thoughts, or do you question them? Chapter 14, Spot Automatic Thoughts. Your greatest enemy often speaks with your own voice. Automatic thoughts are the silent scripts running your life. They show up in micro moments. A setback. Of course, I failed again. A challenge. I can't handle this. A compliment. They don't really mean that. These thoughts feel real, but they're just echoes of past conditioning, trauma, and repetition. And here's what the Stoics knew: if you don't spot the thought, you can't stop the damage. Marcus Aurelius trained himself daily to observe his inner world. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Modern psychology agrees. Metacognition, the ability to think about your thoughts, is one of the highest forms of intelligence. And spotting automatic thoughts is step 1. These thoughts often use extremes: always, never. Are self-limiting: I'm not good enough. Are emotionally loaded. Trigger anxiety, guilt, or shame. Practical technique. For 7 days, carry a small notebook or use your phone. Anytime a strong emotion arises, pause and ask, what thought triggered this? Write it down. See the pattern. Once exposed, it loses power. Stoic integration. Your mind is like a battlefield. If you can name the enemy, you can fight with clarity. Reflective question. Are you living by choice, or by old scripts you've never questioned? Chapter 15, Trust your power to change. The Stoics believed in fate, but not in limitation. They taught that while we can't control the world, we can always control ourselves. And that means this: you can change. At any time. In any way. Epictetus, born a slave, later became one of the most respected philosophers in Rome. He didn't just teach transformation, he lived it. He reminded his students: no man is free who is not master of himself. Modern neuroscience has proven the Stoics right. The brain is not fixed, it is plastic. You are not a product of your past. You are a product of your repeated choices. And the more you act in alignment with your higher self, the stronger those pathways become. But transformation doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in momentum. One new habit. One rewritten belief. One courageous step. Most people wait to feel ready. The Stoic acts first, and becomes ready through the action. Practical reminder. Pick one identity you want to build. I am disciplined. I am calm under pressure. I am a thinker, not a reactor. Ask, what would this version of me do today? Then do it. Even once. Even badly. That's how change begins. Spiritual insight. You are not your past. You are not your feelings. You are not your fear. You are the one choosing what to become. Reflective question. Are you rehearsing your limitations, or rewriting your destiny? Conclusion. Become the architect of your mind. Now you know the truth. Intelligence is not a gift. It is a choice, repeated daily. It's not carved in stone at birth. It's built brick by brick, through every decision, every discomfort, every question you dare to ask. The Stoics didn't sit around waiting to be wise. They trained. They tested. They transformed. And now it's your turn. You've learned how to think like a warrior, read like a philosopher, speak like a strategist, and act like a man who owns his mind. From emotional control to physical discipline. From deep learning to self-mastery. You've been given the blueprint. Now you build. Start today. Not tomorrow. Apply one idea. Spot one automatic thought. Read one page with depth. Face one challenge without flinching. And remember this. You become what you give your attention to. Epictetus. So what are you focusing on? Fear, or growth? Comfort, or greatness? The man you've been, or the man you're becoming? Your intelligence is not fixed. But your future will be, if you don't act. Drop a comment. What idea hit you hardest today? What part of your mind are you ready to rebuild? Like, subscribe, and share this with a brother who needs it. And never forget. You're not finished. You're forging. Let's keep building, together.